What's up? Wake up or whatever you want to do at this time of the day. Corey Clark's here. My name's Alison Hudjavani. Thanks for joining us. It is Wake Up Warchant, proudly presented by Zaxby's Indescribably Good. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Hit that thumbs up button for you folks watching us live here on YouTube. If you're listening to us taped podcast on YouTube, hit the thumbs up as well. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Corey Clark, how are you, man?
I'm hanging in there, buddy. How are you doing? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm good. All this rain. Is it looks a little bit sunny up there in greater Atlanta?
It's not raining yet. It's overcast, but like 73 and not really raining at all, but it's coming.
All right. Yeah, it's been like 2 days nonstop. Yeah. Do you know if the weather will be clearing up? Can you rub the crystal ball, find out what's FSU's future, maybe also the weather?
In the future, no, it's very cloudy. The future is very cloudy. I think it's going to be blue skies ahead, but that's just a guess.
Yeah, gotcha. We spoke to Coach Mike Norvell, offensive assistant, offensive line coach, Alex Atkins, as well as offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham. And who do we get player-wise? We got Darius Washington and Alex Alfano.
And the punter, yep. But we got assistants. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Is it worth asking him tomorrow? Like, you don't want to give us a quarterback? Like, what's up with that?
Hey, buddy, if you want to be confrontational and provoking, go for it. I don't care. I think it's a fair question. I don't know for sure that he was asked for. Yeah. But yeah, if he was asked for, it'd be interesting to know why we didn't get him. But I think the answer to that is they don't know if he's the starting quarterback moving forward, would be my guess. Okay, so let's jump into that. Premier Youth Theater. Thank you, by the way, throwing in $5 into the tip jar for your boys. Maybe Blackman can tap dance in our next show. He had quite the happy feet on Saturday. Yeah, he did. He did.
Come on, you guys are better than that. In Claremont, Florida, stand up.
It's true, though.
There's about, I don't know, at least 3 threads, I think, that popped up on the Tribal Council. We'll start taking your phone calls here in a little bit as we set the table for you. 850-805-5911. Yeah, that's what it is. Pretty easy one to remember. A little bit better than 792-57. Yaks 30, right?
Right.
RIP. Yaks 30. RIP. But there was like 3 threads that instantly popped up after we spoke to Norvell, Dillingham, and Atkins and the players that we mentioned. And, I was on the call. So, like, I was there, I guess. I didn't hear anything verbally. I didn't see any nonverbal body reaction, body language, tone, tenor that made me think that, he's getting the hook. But I guess maybe I'm wrong because there's 3 threads and a whole bunch of people like, oh, yeah, it sounds like he's done.
No, I don't think I don't know that they've even decided yet, but I think it's open for debate now. I think there's going to be real competition in practice, especially if Jordan Travis is back healthy enough, we hope, to move around and throw. I think the practice, and he said that, remember when Blackman got the job, he's like, look, it's going to be a competition. Just because he has it now doesn't mean it's going to be, I don't know if those were exact words, but he did mention that the competition would continue. And you best believe after that performance, the competition is continuing. I don't know if you saw I don't know. I apologize to the tweeter, but there was a play. It must have been in the 3rd quarter where it might have been right before the field goal.
First off, still image or actual video?
It was a video. It was a video of a play. It was 3rd and 1, and Blackman takes a snap, looks back, throws it into triple coverage. It looks like in the middle of the field. Meanwhile, Webb has come out of the backfield, and there is nobody there. Nobody. And I think that's the thing where you talk about the eyes, and they talked about it a bunch with the eyes. Dillingham and Norvell. Norvell said for the most part his eyes were right, which is fine. But he also said he made some plays and some mistakes that they can't make. He just can't make. And then Dillingham said, yeah, he was bad with his eyes a few times. But it had to be one of those plays because that might be a touchdown for Webb. Like, legitimately, there's nobody on that side of the field. Maybe the safety cuts him off at the 10, but there's nobody there. And instead, he chucks it into triple coverage down the middle of the field because I'm sure that was his first read. And I'm sure he was a little panicky because he assumed some pressure was coming that didn't get there. So it's just plays like, it's not even the interceptions. It's not even the 4th down plays or the 4th down scrambles. It's plays like that where I think they still went for it on 4th and 1 and got it. So it doesn't look like that big a play, but it's those types of plays over and over again. So yeah, I mean, I think watching the film again with him, practicing with him for the next 12 days, we'll see who they end up going with. But I do think it's a competition, and we'll see. You asked him about Chubba. Did not say whether he was good to go, but did say that he's got to get back into live game reps. Although I don't know necessarily that they would tell us. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Chubba's actually feeling good and is working out and is getting some reps with the first team. I don't think they would tell anybody that. Now that we're not out there, there's no need to comment on it. So we'll see. But I definitely don't think 100% that James Blackman is the starter, like foolproof, going ahead, straight ahead, no matter what Norvell or Dillingham said today. And then I definitely don't think he's not. You know what I mean? Like, I think they'll have packages.
If you were a betting man, Corey, you would bet that he's taking the first snap against Miami, right? Right now, as we sit here now.
Yes. But I would say it's like, I don't know, 60-40.
Ooh.
I don't think it's that outlandish. And I tell you what, if they have a couple 3-and-outs or a bad turnover, or he doesn't see what he's supposed to see early on, although James Blackman is great on the first drive of games, we know that. But if he doesn't see what he's supposed to see, then it'll be a really quick hook. It won't take till the fourth quarter to bring in another quarterback.
I know, but the offense was struggling for so long in that game. So I don't know really how much confidence they have in the guys behind them, but they have.
It was a weird game too. Like, Dillingham was funny about that, but it's true. Like, they had so many drives that were like 9 plays, 31 yards, 9 plays, 33 yards. Like, they got 21 first downs. That's not a small number. But every time they got around midfield or to Georgia Tech's 41, there'd be a bad play. They would put them in 2nd and 15. And he's like, that's not what we want to do, because you got to hold the ball. And we don't want to hold the ball, which basically means we don't want him to have to hold the ball. And yeah, so they got themselves into really bad situations. Neither one of them were going to heap a lot of the blame on James Blackman, and good coaches shouldn't. But we all have eyes.
Yeah, when I asked him about how tough it is to throw the ball as a quarterback into, I just don't think James has a lot of confidence right now. And he's throwing into 7-man coverage, 8-man. They were dropping 8 and 7 guys into coverage on 3rd down on 2nd and long, and he just doesn't have enough confidence to zip it in there and make a quick throw. And then he talks about Kenny Dillingham, like, well, you can't get in there. It's not easy for anybody to throw on 3rd and long and 3rd and predictable. My thing, though, is, well, then either you got to get this running game ramped up, or you need to make James do really quick throws, really easy reads, really easy decisions on 1st and 2nd down. So it is 3rd and 4. So it is 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, I think moving forward, the only way they're going to run the ball this year with any real sustained success is to have a running quarterback, whether that's Jordan Travis, Chubba, Travis J, any of the Travises. Throw them out there. I think that's the only way you can maximize your running potential, by having a true weapon, a true running threat. Because that was he led them in rushing. Jordan Travis led them in rushing on 6 attempts. Him and Webb both had 39 yards. So if you extrapolate that for an entire game, which I know you can't, they would have made adjustments. But then maybe there's more lanes for your running back. I just think this is an offensive staff that loves to run the ball, wants to run the ball by any means necessary, and I don't know that you can do that with a guy that's not overly athletic or overly mobile, that isn't really a running threat. Just for this year with the obstacles they have on the offensive line. By the way, real quick, what did you think of? I never heard this before, but it makes sense. When Dillingham said they cut up the mistakes they had made in practice, the film of the mistakes that certain players made in practice, and then showed them right next to the mistakes they actually made in the game. And he's like, they were identical. We wanted to show them what you do in practice matters. You keep making this mistake in practice, and what do you know? It showed up on game day. I thought that was interesting. Maybe all coaches do that. I just never heard somebody talk like that before.
Yeah, I remember him talking about the power of preparation. I heard him say something about cutting up plays. I didn't realize he was doing practice versus.
Yeah, he said on Sunday they took all the mistakes that had been made, mistakes that were made in the game, big mistakes, and then went back and found the exact same mistake being made in practice, and showed the players, this is what you did in practice, and lo and behold, this is what you did in the game. And that's why you need to get better in practice, so you stop doing it in the game.
It reminds me of either the first or the second best speech in Hard Knocks history.
Oh, okay. About the snacks?
No, I mean, some people say it's the first. Maybe it is the first. Mine was Marvin Lewis. I think the first time they did Bengals, like after a preseason game, and he's just talking to them about, he's like, some guys on this team wonder why they don't get in. He's like, some guys wonder why they're not getting reps, like, because you don't tackle. He's like, you don't chase down interception. Like, he basically tells these guys, like, it's your team, find a way to fix it, reach down inside, be a bleeping pro. But I guess that's the whole message kind of is, like, you wonder why you're not winning football games. You wonder why we can't execute this play call. Look, man, you did the same thing on Wednesday. Look what you did Saturday. I hope it wasn't I hope it was more tough part of love, the tough love equation than love. I really hope they got on the guys. So that does sound pretty encouraging. What do you think about this, Corey? We got a Miami fan. He's trolling right now, but he gave us money. So I think now that we got his money, we should probably just go ahead and put him in timeout. So we'll do that.
That's funny. That's pretty funny. And we appreciate it. That's nice of him to donate to the cause.
Derek Neal. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate it. Would you take Jeff Sims over Blackman as your starting quarterback? How do you feel now that Norvell passed on it?
Look, man, this is going to sound harsh. It is harsh. I don't know a quarterback that I wouldn't take over James Blackman right now in the country. I'm sure they're out there.
That's really harsh. Yeah.
But what I mean is, look what he did in his last game again. Well, you can go back to the Florida game, but that one was over. The Arizona State game, he had 8 months, and then he followed it up with that meltdown on Saturday. And my point being, I'm not saying they're every other quarterback in the country is more talented than James Blackman. He's just he's a beaten down kid. Like, he's a kid that just has no confidence in himself. It would not appear, and he gets a little panicky, but it makes sense. It's not through his fault to vote. Like, if he would have come to Florida State in 2013 and redshirted behind Jameis, and then was ready to go in 2015 with that team, maybe we sing the praises of James Blackman. He was dealt a really bad hand and a horrible offensive line to go on top of 4 offensive coordinators and 3 head coaches. But all that combined, all glommed together and combined, has made him an unacceptable quarterback at the college level right now. Hopefully he can turn out of the tailspin, but that's 2 awful games in a row where they've scored a grand total of 2 touchdowns, and he's had 6 turnovers in those span, and not against great teams. So that's what, with 2 different coordinators. So that's what gives me pause about moving forward with him. I'm not saying Jeff Sims is great. In fact, I think if Emmett Rice catches that ball, there's a really good chance that Jeff Sims doesn't keep playing. That would have been his 3rd interception of the first half, 1 that's returned for a touchdown, the other 2 that were returned for like 50 yards each, that were terrible turnovers. I think at that point, with 3 first-half interceptions and you're down 17-0, maybe you make a switch there. So I'm not all aboard the Jeff Sims train by any means. I've just obviously hopped off the James Blackman train. And again, good kid, probably a really good teammate, very hard worker, cares a lot. I just think he's beaten down right now to the point where it almost does him a disservice to play football games. But you know what? You make your biggest strides from week 1 to week 2, baby.
Oh, speaking of which, man, hopefully I make my biggest strides from week 1 to week. That was a really bad press conference for me today, man. Wasn't good. I'd be wearing orange. Probably have to wear orange.
Don't be like that.
Think Norvell will say anything about wear orange tomorrow?
I don't think what was wrong with your performance? Thank you, by the way, very much, Derek Neal, for the contribution.
And also, there's apparently conflicting urban legends out there about whether or not Norvell did pass up on Sims. I don't know. I just think, he wanted to go to Florida State. I feel like if the staff wanted him, he would have been at Florida State. But apparently, maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe he decided to go elsewhere. I mean, but he went to Georgia Tech. It's not like he picked Auburn or
Yeah, and I think part of that is when you can't. I don't know that we can say Norvell passed on him. I don't think Norvell told him to take a hike, but Norvell might have told him, "Hey, look, man, we're recruiting other guys, and just you can come here, but we haven't evaluated you. We're recruiting other guys, and we're going to take them if they commit to us. That doesn't mean you're not important to us or whatever. We'd love to have you, but maybe you're not our priority like this kid in Arizona is." So, again, I don't think you should compare Jeff Sims to James Blackman as much as let's see what Jeff Sims looks like compared to Chubba Purdy and Tate Rodemaker. Because in my mind, that's who they chose over him, not James Blackman.
Yeah. All right, with that said, let's take our first phone call of the evening. Is it evening? It's 5:19. That's kind of a weird time.
Happy hour. So it's right in the middle there.
There we go. Welcome on in to Wake Up Warchant presented by Zaxby's Indescribably Good. Who's this and where are you calling us from?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's Gator Kirk.
What's up, Gator Kirk?
Just moving on. taking this week to prep and work on fundamentals, and then next week work on a game plan for Miami.
How do you feel, Gator Kirk?
I'm sorry?
How do you feel, man? Like, are you down? Are you still optimistic? Like, how? Like, walk me through your emotion.
Well, I was a little down. Some drop passes really hurt us. Of course, they dropped some passes as well, and they had some bad reads. But our scheme for Blackman has to be short balls out. You gotta run some screens, some bubble screens, wide receiver screens, something where he has one or two reads and that's it. I mean, you can't give him more options because he's been throwing deep balls for years, and unfortunately, the one he actually had on the money, Terry dropped. So, but he seems like to go for the big play, whether it's there or not. I thought the D's got to get better. I mean, with all that talent, I think their scheme was a little wrong. I think you need to. I think in the fourth quarter we needed to bring pressure as a first down, and we brought it, and they didn't do anything. I'd rather bring pressure and get beat than play a soft zone and rush forward and let them get 3rd and 16. I mean, I watched that for years. I want to bring it back like Mickey brought it. So, anything
else on your mind, G?
I'm kind of, because I looked at the PFF grades and things, and I'm not really sure how Marvin Wilson. I mean, I love the kid, but not sure how he was one of the ACC players of the week.
Well, that was the blocked field goals.
Yeah,
he was the special teams player of the week. So it's blocked field goals.
Special teams. All right. Okay, because I was like, I just think the D. I think now that they've been in there and they know, I mean, they're bound to know their potential there. I think they'll come back hungrier. So, but I got some brand new Seminole gear today. Haven't opened it up yet, but looking forward to that. And it's one game. I mean, I'm reading all the chats. I mean, it's one game. We thought this was going to be year 0. We didn't get spring. We didn't get players on campus. So it's a work in progress. So just gotta take the tough times with the good times.
That's right.
You're right. I like the attitude. Hang with them. You're allowed to be upset, Florida State fans. Obviously, you're not used to this. You should never get used to this, losing all the time in season openers. But at the same time, yeah, it's certainly a work in progress, and that was evident on Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, thanks to the weather delay.
All right, G.
I just want everyone to make sure you hit the thumbs up, support your local Zaxby's, join Warchant, and as always, you got to keep your heads up. We're going to keep 1% better every day, and go Noles. You guys have a great night.
We're going to climb. Thank you, Gator Kirk. Appreciate your call.
Thanks, buddy.
As always, you're very measured tones. Good stuff. Let's take our another call here, Corey. Been waiting for 17 minutes. Look at that. That's amazing. Yep. Welcome on in to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's, Indescribably Good. Who's this and where are you calling us from?
Hey, guys, I talked to you back in the spring up in Missouri. This is the Nixon Knowles.
Oh, nice, buddy. Nice. Welcome back.
Hey, I wish we had happier things to talk about, but I was really just bummed. But so to get me out of this bad mood that I'm in, Aslan, you've got to help me out here.
Okay.
I need to hear Gene Deckerhoff talk to Orgeron. Can you do that for me?
Oh gosh. I don't know. Hey Ed, saw that you got a bunch of guys tested positive for COVID.
We want to have herd immunity. If you don't want to do herd immunity around here, Sweden did herd immunity. We're gonna do herd immunity. Go Tigers!
Nice, Aslan. On demand. You didn't even know that was coming. This wasn't set up. We didn't know Nixon Knoll was calling, but Aslan off the cuff doing it. Should be in an improv group, man.
That was awesome.
Thanks. I tried. Hey, do you watch high school football at all, Nixon Knoll?
Yeah, we have finally got a coach up here. As you said before, I talked to you. I texted in a question once, so thank you for that.
Yeah, John Perry, man, your head football coach at Nixon High School, man. Guy's a winner. I see you guys have won a couple games to beat Branson. I think that's a pretty big deal. I think so. Shout out to
they
him.
beat the conference champion already from last year.
Yeah, my guy. What's on your mind, man? What's going on in the Show Me State?
I didn't know if you guys had any takes on the first 2 or 3 series. They look, we got the score. We had some early success. You guys have kind of talked about it. Did Georgia Tech change up their scheme? What changed, or why did we go away from that? Or has anybody talked about that? Or is that a question for tomorrow in the coaches meeting?
We got kind of I guess it's airing right now, Seminole headlines. This morning we got into not an argument, but a discussion about that, because I said the exact same thing to Ira. And Ira, why would they just run screens till you can't run them anymore? And both Ira and Jeff, Ira especially, was like, well, they're not going to let you keep running screens over and over. They're eventually going to stop it. And I'm like, well, okay, well, make them prove it first. Like, don't just say, oh, they're going to stop it, so let me change what we're doing. I would run 12 screens in a row. Now, and you can vary that. You can vary the screens. And, screens is a very all-encompassing term. You can throw quick outs. You can go the quick strikes to Tamari and Terry and let them just get 7 yards. You can throw some to Toa Feely, Webb, the tight end. There's an all mix of screen game passes you can do, and just keep doing it. If they don't ever adjust, go score 50 points. And if they do adjust, maybe that opens up something different. I have no idea why they kind of went away from it so much. And just became, like, I guess Dillingham would say that it was because they were in 3rd and 15 the whole time, but that's not true. I don't understand why that wasn't more of a part of their game plan, because obviously it was at the beginning and it worked. And it's like they had the weather delay, and it's like, all right, well, we got that out of the way. Now let's start chucking it downfield aimlessly to just green patches of grass, which is what it seemed like it was the final 3 quarters.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. It's like, until they stop it, keep doing it. But
yeah,
I don't know. It was just so disheartening. It's like, we got off to a good start. I don't know what happened to the defense. I was just like, what are we doing? Or what? It's Georgia Tech. We should be getting in this kid's face. And Sims looked like the junior, and our guy looked like the deer in headlights freshman again. Yeah. And it's just why this is, and I think it's going to change. We're going to see him start again next week or against Miami. That's what it's going to be, but it's going to change. But there was also, they were saying stuff on the telecast, or I saw it, and then the presser with Marv. They had a shot of Blackman and Tamori and Terry on the sidelines, and they were talking, and it just looked like they were both like, well, here we go again. We tried. We thought we were ready for this season. And it's like all these 50-50 games, all these teams are thinking, hey, all we got to do is keep it close, get to the 4th quarter, and they're going to fall apart again.
Yeah, and everybody's going to think that until you change their opinion. But they have to go change that opinion, because right now, most all those teams will be right. Like, yeah, if we get them in the 4th, even if they have a lead, let's get to the 4th quarter and keep it close. We'll end up beating Florida State. I'm sure that's what any team left on the schedule is thinking, and you got to go prove otherwise, man. And I do like the coaching staff. I do. I think they have a chance to be good. But this is what they're working with. It's a little bit of a longer haul than maybe we anticipated. But that's probably our mistake. It's been 3 years of this now, so that's hard to fix overnight.
Do you think Sims and Norvell said hello after the game?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I didn't watch that closely, but maybe Sims had something to say to him. Who knows? We really don't know how that relationship.
That was a great game, wasn't it? That was a great game, wasn't it?
Yeah. He might have said that. I don't know how that relationship actually ended. It might have been amicable. Sorry, on both their parts. We don't know exactly what happened, but yeah, I can imagine Sims might have had something to say or felt extra good about that performance. Although, again, I'm telling you, if Emmett Rice catches the ball, I don't think Jeff Sims plays in the second half. It's just but he didn't.
It's over.
Mm-hmm.
This is 3 years in a row of that, though, right? Or it's like 4 years ago. Like if Francois doesn't go down, or if there's that pass interference call against Alabama, who knows what happens?
If Nooney gets in the end, or if they actually say Nooney gets in the end zone, or if Cam Akers doesn't fumble. Yeah, I'm not saying that the game's over if they're up 17-0, because I was here all of last year, so we saw how this team can still implode with a big lead. But I think there's a real chance that Collins makes a switch at quarterback if his kid's thrown 3 interceptions in the first half, one that was just run back for the touchdown. Even though you're kind of dominating the game, you're down 17-0 because the kid won't stop turning the ball over. Maybe that's the end of the line for Sims. But you know what? Emmett Rice dropped it. Jeff Sims played much better in the second half, and we're talking about an 0-1 football team.
We are. All right, Nick. So thanks for the call, man.
Okay, can I make one more?
Oh, sure. Sorry, didn't mean to rush you up. Go ahead.
That's okay. Coach is always saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. If I need to donate the money to make it happen, can somebody get the press conference a real microphone and stop using the fake microphone and stand in front of the laptop? Because the audio on their end, I know it's not you guys, but it's just like, come on, put a real mic out there. I mean, everybody's talking about us all the time. Our facilities are poor. We got to get better here. Booger McFarland's always gashing us. People are seeing this. Recruits are seeing this. Get that football facility paid for. Get that, let's break ground. This stuff makes a difference, and this is why we're not getting. I mean, I know we're not going to get them right now, but we got to get them in the future. We got to get this better. We got to get it turned around. I believe in this coach. I believe in this staff. Defense has got to get better. We got to start catching balls. You guys are great. Thank you for everything you do. Go eat at Zaxby's. Thumbs up. And Nixon is out.
Thanks, man.
Good job, Nixon. I have a feeling they're going to get the microphone before they break ground on the football house. I think there's a better chance of the microphone. But you could ask Norvell that tomorrow too, Aslan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just afraid we bring that up. They'll just be like, all right, well, you're not allowed to record the Zooms anymore. And then we're,
Oh, yeah, no, Derek would be really upset with that. It would be nice if they put, especially for game days, to give them a real mic so the audio comes in clear.
I did talk to my buddy who covers Texas, UT, Austin, Longhorns, and they pretty much do the same thing. They give Longhorn Network a clean feed to run on their post-game show live on ESPN or Longhorn Network, but then every other media outlet is having to take the audio from Zoom, and they don't have an external microphone. Like, they don't have – it's the one that's built into their laptop too at Texas, and their endowment's probably quadruple what Florida State has. Excuse me. So there is that. All right, let's keep taking phone calls. That's what we do on this edition. This guy's, man, 36 or 26 minutes they've been on hold. That's amazing. Thanks for hanging tight. Appreciate it. Who's this? Where are you calling us from?
This is Derril from Thomasville, North Carolina. How y'all doing?
Good.
What's up, Derril?
Derril's starting to become like a part of the fabric of the show, I feel like, Corey.
He and Gator Kirk and Jay. Jay's more hit or miss, but Derril and Gator Kirk are pretty consistent. We need that level of consistency out of the football team we cover.
Right. I'm sure about that. So Mike Norvell wants. What's on your mind, Derril?
Well, I was, I'm pretty, I guess you say I'm aggravated about the game and everything. I've been a long time fan. I've been following Florida State since I was about 5-6 years old, and I'm getting up there in years now. But I've been following Florida State ever since I can remember. And it just gets aggravating, seeing the same old stuff year after year, especially these last 3 or 4 years, it seems like. And especially you see young freshmen, come into Doak Campbell Stadium and just throw the ball around all over the place, or run all over our defense, and you hear our defense seems to be getting better, and yet they run all over us like we're like a high school team or something. But yet we have seem to recruit pretty decent high school quarterbacks, and yet we can't seem to develop them like other colleges. I was going to ask Corey what you think is, do we not is it not because we're not recruiting better quarterbacks, or is just we're putting more emphasis on getting our juniors and seniors ready for the season, and just waiting for the other guys to get caught up?
Well, I think in this particular instance, this season, number one, you got to remember the coach that was just left here didn't sign a quarterback his 2 years here, so that didn't help. But I think when you look at through the lens of just this season, I think Chubba had a really good chance to be the starting quarterback, or at least get significant playing time in the opener, and he broke his collarbone. That's just bad luck, but it happened. So he also got COVID, right, Aslan?
Yeah.
So that didn't help matters either. But if you're going to get COVID, I guess get it with a broken collarbone. So you're out anyway. You're quarantined anyway. But so he got left behind. Like he's not learning at the same rate that the other guys are. If he had COVID, he wasn't even around the team. So he couldn't get all the mental reps that you'd want him to get in anyway. So I think with that in mind, that was the guy they wanted, and it just didn't happen. And they weren't left. Norvell wasn't left a great cupboard of quarterbacks. Jordan Travis, I think, could be okay, but he's certainly not going to be a star throwing the ball. And he's a guy that didn't really cut it at Louisville. And then Tate Rodemaker, we don't know. I don't even want to have an opinion on Tate Rodemaker because I don't know anything about him. He might be the next Tom Brady. We just haven't seen him. But of the three that seem like probable starters are competing for the job, one broke his collarbone. The other one, Jordan Travis, was also out for multiple weeks of camp. So it was basically Blackman by default. And I think moving forward, so this time next year, I don't know if James Blackman will be here, but I feel very confident that Chubba Purdy and Tate Rodemaker will be here. So will Luke. Is it Altmaier?
Yeah, Luke Altmaier.
So they have a quarterback that they got a commitment from that they really like. So they will have three quarterbacks that are their quarterbacks that are in the system. And I think that's when you hope that it happens. That's when you hope that it clicks and you get a good quarterback again, because it's been a long time since they even had a decent quarterback. Decent quarterback play. I would say 2016 was the last time. Francois' redshirt freshman year, and he had been working under an engaged Jimbo for 2 years, and they just haven't gotten this coaching. I think Norvell and Dillingham will do a good job in quarterback evaluating and quarterback developing. Right now, though, they're left with a guy that's just been battered and bruised for the last 3 or 4 years, and he was kind of their only option for the week one, I think. Now that they've seen what it looks like in person, though, Derril, like you've said, you're frustrated. Well, think how frustrated they are going from the quarterbacks they're used to coaching to that. So now that they've seen it up close and personal and not just on film, and they've seen how it looks in a game when they're making a play call and it doesn't get called, it doesn't get executed, they are going to be very more apt, in my opinion, to make a change or at least make an adjustment. So that's all I can tell you, man. But yes, they have been Florida State. Their run at offensive line has been worse than their run at quarterback, but barely, because they have been not good at quarterback for a long, long time. And it's, hopefully one of these freshmen is the guy or the kid coming in next year.
Well, I know I saw, Rodemaker's high school film, when Michael Langston was doing this, evaluation, here a while back, and Rodemaker seemed like he could throw the ball, pretty well, and that's what I thought they might give him at least give him a shot, in this Georgia Tech game. At least he sure couldn't do no worse than Blackman could, and so I thought at least maybe he could might give him a shot. At least we might be able to do something. But I figure if we keep throwing Blackman out there, in the Miami game and on down the road, we're not going to do too well if this is the best we got.
Well, that's a good point, Derril. I agree.
Well, I enjoy your show, but and it keeps me entertained up here. I mean, I don't you sure don't get nothing up here in North Carolina, and I enjoy Warchant, and I've been a subscriber since 2002.
Nice.
I enjoy y'all, and y'all keep up the good work, and y'all guys subscribe to Warchant and go to the Zaxby's, and we love y'all, and y'all go Noles.
That's right. Thank you so much, Joe. We appreciate the call, man.
Thank you, Derril.
All right, here we go. Let's take another call. Welcome on in to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's Indescribably Good. Who's this? Where are you calling us from?
This is CJ from Dedham.
Oh, there we go. Massachusetts in the house, man. What's going on, CJ?
Yes, sir. How you guys doing, man?
Could be better.
I wish you could be talking under better circumstances, but
you and us both.
You know how it goes. Yeah. So I had a few remarks about the game on Saturday. Is the first thing that I noticed, and this comes with a disclaimer that I was like 8 jacking folks in by the time the game took back up from the rain delay. But
I wish I was too, CJ.
Yeah. So I noticed that our players, they look bigger on screen, but they don't look as explosive or as fast. So I don't know if it was just the Jack and Coke playing tricks on me, but I noticed that I didn't see much of the explosion that I expected from what Adam Fuller was talking about, especially on defense. Because when he mentioned that we were going to have an attacking style defense, I automatically thought to like 2013 when he had guys like LaMarcus Joyner just exploding off the ball and making tackles and being all over the field, and I just they seemed hesitant and slow. So like, was it just my imagination, or is that what everybody else saw?
No.
It definitely wasn't your imagination, for sure. I don't know. I was so disappointed in this. I don't even know if this goes to your point, because I feel like you're maybe talking more about linebackers and defensive backs, but maybe defensive ends. I just was not impressed at all with the defensive front at all. Now, Durden deserves a little bit of a break, I guess, because he was banged up throughout camp and he was coming off an injury or a surgery. But I just wasn't all that impressed with anything up front that I saw. Marvin was okay, but by Marvin's, you don't need just okay from Marvin. You need him to be a dominant force, and he wasn't. Hopefully, moving forward, that can be the case. But yeah, they looked almost hesitant. That was a concern that I had, but that was a concern that I had after the game. Was, man, they looked really hesitant. They didn't attack like you'd want to attack. I would tell you who did attack, I thought, was Dix Jr. when he was in there. The problem with him is he's taken bad angles. He has not played a whole lot, so he's taken bad angles and did not do a very good job tackling. But he went he was firing. He was going fast. He just wasn't going in the right direction sometimes, which is a huge problem. But, moving forward, you hope. I do think that some of those guys are real athletes. I think Amari Gaynor is a real athlete. He had an okay game. He had a pretty good game. Emmett Rice didn't do a whole lot. Leonard Warner, I think, is just Leonard Warner. I don't think Leonard Warner has ever proven to be anything special. He's a serviceable linebacker, but nothing special. So I think moving forward, if you're going to get that kind of play out of Emmett Rice and Warner, maybe you go with DJ Lundy and Steven Dix Jr. Maybe you go with younger guys and have, just get them used to the fire. But I don't think they were very attacking, but I don't think that's because that's what Fuller wants. I think Fuller wants them to be attacking, and Fuller wants them to be aggressive. You could just tell they had a hard time pulling the trigger, right? It just didn't seem like anybody was going downhill towards the ball.
Right. And that's my problem, because I was thinking in the back of my head, maybe they were so worried about Justin's running that they were just kind of playing contain more rather than just playing downfield. And that's actually a way bigger problem than just this one game, because if you look at our schedule, our next, I don't know, 6 or 7 games, they're full of quarterbacks that literally run for a living.
Yeah.
Derek King, Miami, we play the quarterback from Jacksonville State, who was a former 4-star recruit at Clemson, Zarek Cooper. So he's a run threat. And then after that, we're going to have to deal with the guy from Louisville. That's another runner. And then Sam Howell, he's no slouch. He was a dual threat quarterback in high school. So Trevor Lawrence can also run. Ian Book. So it's if we're going to be that hesitant playing running quarterbacks, then this might be a problem for the entire season. I'm being honest here.
The biggest bummer of all this is that last year when they weren't aggressive, it felt like it's because they were confused. I didn't see guys that were confused and hesitant. I just saw guys that just didn't have aggression. I just didn't see guys that ran with confidence. Maybe that's, I don't know. I just thought this staff would be so much more clear, so much better teachers, that they would be able to play with their hair on fire and run around the field and make plays. But it didn't seem like they were confused. It just, I don't know. It just seemed like they were timid. And I don't know how you can flip a switch on that, but hopefully they will. But yeah,
look at that, CJ. I don't know if you can see what Aslan has up on the screen, but he's got the PFF grades for all the defensive players, the 25 that played. In dead last is Janaris Robinson, who played 56 snaps and had the worst 56 snaps out of 71 and had the worst grade out of anybody. In that he's a senior, man, and he's a guy that you're counting on to be good, and he was dreadful in everything. And you can't have that out of him. You're supposed to be taking steps. And I don't want to be too reactionary. It is just one game. But man, if he plays like that again against Miami and doesn't take the growth that's necessary, because he didn't do anything. There was no impact at all. He almost tipped a pass that ended up going for like a 40-yard gain down the sideline. Other than that, I don't remember seeing him. He just didn't do anything in his 56 plays. And if that's the effort you're going to get from him, well, man, you best just play the Griffiths kid and Fuller. Like, play the younger guys, because at least you can build them up. J-Rob is J-Rob. And that's embarrassing, in my opinion, for a guy that's been here that long, that has had some good moments, to be dead last out of 25 players in production in 56 plays.
All right,
Yeah,
CJ.
that's pretty bad. Like, I just have one more comment.
Yeah, sorry, I'm terrible at this wrapping
Corey.
up thing. I need a call screen. Yeah, go ahead, go for it, CJ. You're good.
What's up with your boy, future Hall of Famer Tamarian Terry, man? Like, the guy's supposed to be a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame, and you can't drop those kind of passes, man. Big-time players make big-time plays games. Man.
The problem, though, CJ, is it's not a big-time game. It's Georgia Tech. That's what Tamarian Terry was thinking.
I mean,
he did it for the Sun Bowl where he fumbled.
This is a big-time game because
I know. I was just kidding. Look,
yeah, I'm just pulling your leg, but yeah, but thanks for taking my call, guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. I'm gonna keep on listening on the other side. All right,
Appreciate it, man. Thanks, CJ.
Buddy. Yeah, let me finish my point on Tamarian, because we talked about this on headlines too. That's a terrible drop, but he's still the best you got by a long stretch on any of the skill athletes, and you've got to get him more chances with the ball. Ira made the point, and it's not a bad point. I brought this up before. He's not a guy that you just throw it up to and say, go get it, like wrestle it away from someone. He doesn't maybe compete on those plays as well as you'd like. That's my ball, give it to me. But he's still going to run by somebody twice a game. And for all we know, he might have been open for 3 other touchdowns that just weren't seen. And maybe the throws that got to him so late, the ones that were incomplete, that he was open at the time. Now, I'm not saying he had a good game, because he didn't. He needs to make better plays than that. But again, he's hamstrung, like they're all hamstrung, because of who's throwing the ball to him. But yes, he doesn't need to be dropping those passes anymore. I'm still a little more miffed about the Warren Thompson ones, because those were, it wasn't a good throw, that first one, but come on, Warren Thompson. You dropped the ball right at the 10-yard line when you're going in for another touchdown, and then drop that crucial pass that would have gotten a first down in the second quarter. So, yeah, he did not play well. That's a horrible drop. They might win the game. They probably do win the game if he makes that catch. That puts them up 17-0, and they gave up 16 points. So probably they win the game. But yeah, that was rough.
That Miami fan is back. So, do you think there's like any angst, or is there like enhanced angst from the fan base because the next game is Miami, and like you maybe don't feel all that good about it?
You don't maybe feel all that good. I don't think anybody feels good about it. Hey, we'll see, man. We'll see. They got to play Louisville this weekend. We'll see what they look like.
Oh, but in better news, there's the man. There's the man with the plan.
What's up, Ray?
Ray Pereira in the house. Play his theme song, Aslan. What's Ray got to say? Let me get back to the screen so I can read it to our friendly, loyal folks on the podcast. Kind of expected the offensive production, Ray says, but was surprised about the defense. If you both were Norvell, what one major change would you implement each? Keep up the good work. Go Noles. All right. Well, I'm putting in a new quarterback. What are you going to do, Corey? That's all I want to do.
I think that's the right answer, but who? I'm almost serious. Me and Ira, I think, are in the same wavelength here.
Suck it up, Chubb.
If Chubba's not healthy, I am serious. I let Travis Jay take 40 snaps at quarterback. You can teach him to roll right, and you can teach him to roll left. You can teach him the zone read, and I think your running game triples its production, maybe doubles it. If you just drop James Blackman and get back 40 times against Miami, you got no chance. And I don't know that these running backs are good enough to expect them to make yards on their own. But if you have a running threat, like a dynamic running threat, like a Lamar Jackson type running threat, and I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson, but he is really impressive athletically, then that changes things. Do anything. Do something. Because this ain't it. This ain't it.
Do something. Climb, Corey. Climb.
Sorry. Climb towards the Wild J. But you can't even call it the Wild J because it's just going to be your package. It's just going to be your offense. He's going to be taking snaps and running around 40 or 50 times a game. He can throw it up. He played quarterback in high school. He can throw it a little bit. If Tamarian Terry's wide open, he can throw it to him. And, would he be any worse on the downfield throws than Blackman? Although Blackman made the really nice one that Terry dropped. I should point that out. But all the other ones were awful. And so, yeah, I'm to that point, man. Just try something revolutionary, something completely different.
What about defensively? What do you do? I mean, you blitz just every time practically? Do you play Mickey Andrews style defense and you just attack the pocket and the passer? And then
one person we haven't talked about a lot, which is a big deal, is Hamza. Hamza's one of the best defensive players on that team. And what do you do with him when he comes back?
Yeah.
Where do you put him? Is he closer to the line of scrimmage? Is he one of the hybrid guys? It sounds like that's what he would be. And he becomes a difference maker defensively, I think. So, not that you can make a change there. I don't know. I don't know what the change is. I would say bring more pressure, but you going to do that against De'Aaron King? As soon as he slips out of the defensive end takes a bad angle, and he slips through that like Sims did when Fuller went outside too much on one of the plays. It's a 20-yard, 30-yard, maybe a 50-yard gain with that kid. So I don't know. Special teams were good though. But even as bad as the defense was, and I agree with you, Ray, 269 yards and a half is ridiculous. 440 in a game against that team is ridiculous. It was still 16 points. So you'd hope you'd win when you only give up 16 points.
I just don't. I mean, you got to pin the ears back, I guess. I don't know how
do you do that though? You don't have any defensive ends that can play.
But nobody, even when Josh Kando was in the game, Josh Kando wasn't asked to fire off the ball and get after the ball.
He might have been and just can't do it. And that might be the issue. You didn't see the fast twitch that you'd like to see from an edge rusher, from either guy. Well, we know what J-Rob is. That's not who he is. But you were hoping Kando, you'd see that some. And even on obvious passing downs like 3rd and 12, you didn't see it much from him. I think he made a couple nice plays near the end before he got hurt. But otherwise, he wasn't impressive either. And, but again, I don't want to – that's one small sample size. That was a quarter and a half. I don't know how many plays he had, 25. That's too small a sample size to say he's still the same Josh Kando. So we'll see. But good news for the people listening and watching is that Norvell today and Papuchis on the coaches show on Monday both sounded like that the injury to Kando isn't serious and the prognosis is good. I think that was actually – a quote from Norvell is it was good news on the prognosis. So hopefully Kando is back for the Miami game, which is good, man, because I thought, oh man, did he do it again? No. Not selfishly because it was going to make the defense worse, but for that kid to work that hard and then have another season-ending injury when a kid just dives at his knee or falls down into his knee would have been awful. So that's really good news that he's apparently going to be okay.
He made it home on one safety blitz, Woody and somebody combined on a blitz. So there was one where Leonard Warner ran so free right up the A gap that I think he was surprised and he missed Sims. But I don't know.
They all had a couple, right? Where it seemed like they had a couple where he was wrapped up but threw the ball away as he was being tackled. So they were close to maybe 3 sacks, but still, it wasn't especially coming off the edge with your front four. It wasn't what you were looking for. At all.
Let me see if I can pull up. I know we got some callers. I do see hang tight. We'll pull you up here shortly. I want to see if I could. How many pressures did they get?
Ooh, that's our go-to stat.
21 pressures. They gave them actually 2 sacks, 6 hits, 13 hurries. So all those are pressures. So they're 21 pressures. 2 of them were sacks, 6 hits. 13 hurries.
How many of the hurries were by defensive linemen?
Marvin had 3. Fabian Lovett had 2. Corey Durden had 3. McClendon had 2. Janaris had 2. So I think pretty much all.
Yeah.
Deontay Williams had 1 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember the ones from Durden, but maybe I just didn't see them.
But Marvin, Amari, Cooper, Leonard Warner III, Kando, and Durden had the hits.
Yeah, well, Marvin was mainly directly responsible for the second interception, where he threw it right to Asante near the goal line. That was Marvin coming free and about to slam him down.
Yeah. Oh, let's take our next caller. Thanks for hanging tight. Appreciate it. Who's this and where are you calling us from?
This is Claude from Houston.
Claude from Houston.
Yes, I called last week.
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
Well, I'm doing all right. I'm disappointed with the fans.
Why is that?
Well, this is Norville's first game. He had one of his arms tied behind his back because of the COVID situation and the loss of spring practice. He started a quarterback that he didn't want to start. It was obvious. And he had a team that really wasn't entrenched in the play calling and both defense and offense. Fans got to remember that you got to give a coach time. I mean, even Bobby Bowden in his first season, he lost the first game he coached at Florida State, 21-12 to Memphis State.
He actually lost the first 4, I think. I think the next week they lost to Miami 47-0, and that wasn't a good Miami team. No, it did not. It did not start well for Bowden when he was at Florida State. I think the fans. It's Florida State, so just like Alabama fans in 2007, they weren't happy when Nick Saban lost to Xavier Lee. But I don't know that these Florida State fans necessarily, at least the ones that matter, like the ones we should listen to, Claude, the ones we put stock in their opinions. I don't think anybody's writing off Mike Norvell after one game. I think they might be disappointed. Not might. They are disappointed in the performance and in the loss because of who it was against. But I think most fans still feel pretty good about the hire. I would hope one loss wouldn't do that. At the same time, you got to remember they're Florida State fans. And, I know it's been here recently, but they're the winningest program of the last 4 decades. This isn't a fan base that's used to giving coaches time. They've never had to do this before. It's a learning process, and it's not quite frankly one they want to get used to. So they're always going to be a little jumpy and a little on edge and maybe a little unrealistic. But you'd rather have that than the other way, Claude, where you just take it like you just accept it. I don't think this will be a place. You hope it's never a place where people accept losing. But yes, you have to give this guy time to get his plan in place. And you're right. I think he had both arms tied behind his back. The COVID was a huge deal for everyone, obviously, all of us. But when you're trying to implement a new system, but then also, yeah, he was a quarterback that it's not his guy. And he was basically forced to start. So yeah, he had a couple. He had both hands tied behind his back, and I just want to see, and I think you agree with me, Claude. I hope I shouldn't speak for you. Don't you want to see what they look like in November? Like nobody's expecting 10-1 or even 8-3 at this point, but be better than you were in September for the first time in who knows how long. That's what I really want to see, right?
Yeah, I want to see them end the season on a high note.
Right.
That's what I want to see. And in defense for Tamarian Terry, that was probably the worst game of his career. But I think I heard from somewhere else that he was notified of a death in his immediate family right before the game.
Yes, his grandmom passed away. I don't know if she passed away on Saturday, but he tweeted about it on Saturday. So it either happened Friday night or Saturday. Yeah, and we haven't actually brought that up, but obviously he was playing with a heavy heart.
Yeah, he was. So, I mean, give the guy a break. It really threw off his game. It was noticeable.
All right, Claude, anything else for us?
No, you guys are doing a great job. Just keep it up.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Claude. Appreciate it, buddy.
Claude?
All right. Y'all take care.
You as well. Wrapping things up here on Wake Up Warchant presented by Zaxby's. Shout out to Redbeard. He sends a shout out to Corey Clark, his spirit animal. When he is down, I am down. Hopes it helps pick your spirits up. $24.99 in the tip jar one time.
You are the man. Redbeard 40 is the man. I appreciate that. I'm trying not to be down. I apologize. You'd think I'd be used to it by now. And again, I never thought this team was going to be great. I just want to talk about a team that's 1-0. I forget what it's like. I had hair the last time they were 1-0. So that's all. I was disappointed by the opener, but I'm going to pick up my spirits. I'm going to be much more affable and the normal Corey Clark that people are accustomed to. I hope I can do that moving forward. As maybe that was their only loss of the season too, so we're all going to be happy. But I really do appreciate Redbeard a lot. That's very nice.
All right, let's take our last question of the day as we head to the top of the hour here on Wake Up Warchant presented by Zaxby's. $10 from Connor Kachik. I think that's how you pronounce your last name. I'm not good with the Slavic Eastern European names. I apologize. But we do appreciate the question, the content, as well as the donation, or the tip, rather. Why do you think Norvell is reluctant to give reps to guys like Brian Robinson and Kentron Poitier? They balled out all week. And what would you say about those drops from Terry and Thompson?
They were not good. I'll answer the second part first. They were not good. The two from Thompson were just, they were huge plays. And again, so was Terry. They were all three really, really bad drops. That doesn't absolve Blackman of his poor play, but the stat line and maybe more importantly, the box score and the scoreboard would have looked a lot better if those guys hold on to the ball. But you're going to have drops. That is going to happen. You're not going to go through a whole season where every receiver makes every catch. Just come on, next time, haul those in, guys. As far as Robinson and Poitier, true freshmen, wide receivers, when you have those guys, maybe you don't throw them into the mix as much right away. They just might not be as good, they think, as the other. In fact, they don't think they're as good as the other two, or they'd be playing. I think that's the one thing about this coaching staff that we agree on, right, Aslan, is they are going to play the guys that earn it, that are the best. And that's why they had two true freshman O-linemen in their basically starting 7 or starting 8. It just turned out neither one was available. But they worked themselves, and Norvell said that as much on Tuesday, that was a big loss that they didn't have those two guys in the 7-man rotation or 8-man rotation. So they had to play Chaz Neal that one play. They had to play Brady Scott at some of those different positions. So anyway, I think moving forward that they'll get a chance to play for sure. I can't. It's hard to guess as to where they are in the depth chart.
What was Brian? Is Brian Robinson? Maybe Kentron Poitier goes up and gets you a pass, but like the wide receivers drop passes. I understand that, but let's not try to pretend that there's a glaring deficiency in this offense. And if that doesn't get fixed, most of the other stuff really doesn't matter. Last one, Max Moody comes in at the last minute, dropping $5 into the jar. Thank you, Max. Why didn't we run more? Why ask Blackman to be someone he is not? Scripted drives look good. Then he lost his confidence. So run. Well, probably because the offensive line had 5 different combinations. But
even in the first half, I think they had thrown 3 times as many passes as they ran. There was some stat like that. I think Blackman threw 22 times in the first half. He's not a guy in a 16-13 game that needs to be throwing the ball 43 times, unless 38 of them are screen passes. And then that's just an extension of the running game, which is fine. They did not run the ball all that well. Corbin didn't do much. I like the way Corbin ran on short yardage. He's a tough kid that's going to get you a first down, it looks like. That's especially out of the Wildcat. I like that little wrinkle. And that worked every time they went for it on 4th and short. He got the first down. But they weren't running the ball well, but they also didn't give it a lot of time to run the ball well. They didn't. I don't know why they didn't. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Apologies to everybody we were not able to get to on the phone lines. Sorry about that. We will try to get to you next week. Thanks to Max. Thanks to Connor, Sean, Redbeard, Ray Pereira, I guess even the Miami guy, DJ.
And the Miami Troll.
And Premier Youth Theater. This is how we're going to end shows now, Corey. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
We are sorry, but the show has ended. Goodbye.
That's how it goes. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch up with you all tomorrow.